What's going on, folks? So, today I'm going to be checking out a band called Dystopica, and the name of this song is The Dent in My Life. Now, this band actually reached out to me and asked if I would check this song out, and of course I said absolutely. And from what I can gather, it looks like they have a new album coming out May 17th. I believe that's the case, but regardless if that date isn't correct, they definitely have a new album coming out called Infinite Reflections. And yeah, like I said, the band reached out to me. I'm looking forward to checking this out and seeing what this band's all about. So without further ado, let's give it a listen, shall we? Rangers, go.
I let the time fall out of reach when you managed to leave a dent in my life. Thought I was fine, lost in the madness, convincing myself so I could just get by. I was alive, but barely living, so tired of the stress, so hollow inside. And I was so young, stupid, forgiving, caring, and afraid.
This is a pretty interesting song here. I'm quite impressed with the essence of it, what they were going for. The melodies I really liked, and the vibe. It's really a well done song. And, there's a couple things I feel like holds it back from being really, really great. It almost, to me, feels like it's still in demo form, and it needs a little bit more tweaking to really, really shine. But with that being said, there's a lot that I like about this. I found myself really getting into it. And, it's just done well. And like I said, I really like the melodies and the vibe and all of that good stuff. But, like I said, again, at its core, there's really something here. I enjoyed it quite a bit. And even despite it being a little rough around the edges and whatnot, it's still enjoyable. But doesn't quite reach its full potential, in my opinion. The building blocks are there, but it's not all kind of put together yet. It's like they're building a structure, and they kind of got it like 85% the way there, but then they kind of leave it. And so, if you visit the building that's built or whatnot, there's still some scaffoldings, there's still some stuff that's a little unfinished. But when you're looking at it, it looks real nice, and you can tell the finished product, once it's fully complete, it'll be quite the structure, quite the sight to behold. You can see it, but there's still some things on there that look unfinished. So it just holds it back from being truly what it could be. And I love metaphors, so yeah, it is what it is. Anywho, so yeah, I guess first off, the things that I liked. I really like the vocals. She's got a really nice voice, and shows off a nice range there. There's one thing about the vocals that I didn't care for, but I'll get into that once I talk about the things that I feel could use maybe a little bit of work. But ultimately, I enjoyed her voice. She's got a nice range, solid delivery for the most part. And I really like the highs and that kind of operatic sort of vibe there, as the song goes on towards the end. It's really nice. And then in the chorus, I really like her approach to the chorus and the delivery, and it's solid. So yeah, solid vocals. The guitar solo was neat. And I like that riff. It kind of just provides a nice backdrop. But there is one thing I want to talk about the guitars also in later. But musically, for the most part, it's solid. But again, it kind of feels like it's the building blocks. It's not finished. And that's part of like my critique. So I enjoyed the melodies, even in the verses, the chorus, the vocals for the most part. And the music, again, for the most part, even though it just feels like a little bit empty. But the song as a whole, like I've said already, I enjoyed it. And I found myself enjoying it as the song went on. And I just really want it to reach its full potential, because it's there. It's there. But as the song stands right now, to me, it feels more like a demo, more like, an early recording of it, before it's completely finalized and fine-tuned and all of that stuff. So that is ultimately my thoughts. But the things that I feel like would really benefit the song, in my opinion, first and foremost, with the vocals, there in the verses, it's kind of like the second half of the verses, when she really delivers some of these things and gets a little gravelly in her voice and all that stuff. It just felt a little forced. I get the idea of it, but it just comes off feeling a little bit forced, and it kind of took me out of it a little bit with the melody. And I would have preferred to not really kind of emphasize those moments so hard. It just didn't quite work for me. Whereas in the chorus, she definitely has a little bit more aggression in her voice, but it's a little bit more reserved. It doesn't come across as, too too forced. It feels much more natural. And so I like that a little bit of edge to her voice in the chorus. It worked really well there. But in those little verse sections where she really kind of hammers on a couple words and stuff, it's a little too much, and I would have preferred it to stay more clean like she does in the earlier verses, all the way through the verses. And then there in the chorus, you get a little bit of that, but not too much. It's just definitely emphasized a little bit more there in the chorus, and it works much better. So I would just smooth out those, heavy hitting notes and words there in like the second half of the verse. Just smooth them out, keep the verses all clean, and then get a little bit of that aggression in the chorus that just feels much more natural and much more smooth, but still conveying that little bit more of an oomph to it. I just really think that would work a lot better, in my humble opinion. And as far as the music goes, it kind of feels a little bit empty to me. It feels like there needs to be a couple more layers in there to really provide that full kind of rich sound, instead of it feeling like the sound and everything is there kind of on the surface and there's nothing really behind it. And so it kind of gives an emptiness to the sound instead of it feeling full and rich and with depth and all of that. It's very surface level. And, one thing I think that would help is I found it interesting because it looks like they have two guitarists, but like in the chorus and a lot of the spots, it seems like they're both kind of doing the same riff, and it's a very rhythmic kind of riff, and it works. It has a nice sound and all of that. But again, because it's like kind of dun 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 or something like that, something along those lines. That might be the vocal melody, but it's something just very like a couple strums, pause, a couple strums, something like that. And because they're both doing it, again, it kind of leaves this empty space that just makes the emptiness behind the music even more present. And so with two guitarists, I really think, having one, like the rhythm guitar doing that strumming, because it's a nice foundation, like I said, and there's a nice tone, but have the lead guitarist kind of doing something, I'm not a guitarist, but something that has a little bit more of a melody to it behind it, and that would help add to the depth. Which I think would be very beneficial and really kind of fill in some of that emptiness. Because if you already have two guitarists, it just feels like a waste to just kind of have them both doing this kind of slow, deliberate kind of rhythmic thing, when the other could be kind of doing this nice little melody in the background to just, again, fill it out, give the song a little extra character, a little bit of a flair to it. Instead of it just feeling very just, it just, it just doesn't grab the listener. It's just very kind of, it becomes somewhat monotonous, to be honest. And it just would have benefited to having a little bit something else going on there with the guitar. Would have really, really helped, in my opinion. And one other thing that I think would have really helped with the depth of the sound and the emptiness is I love that piano in the beginning. It was a great intro with the piano, wonderful vocals and all of that. But then for the most part, the piano kind of goes away. I think having the piano more present throughout the rest of the song, just doing a nice little melody and filling in some of the gaps, like, just something to where the piano is more present throughout the song, that would have added even more character to the song. And would have helped it, reach higher levels and fill in the empty space. So if you had like the one guitar doing the main riff kind of thing, have the other guitar doing a little bit of a melody in the background, and then just having a little bit of a nice piano in there, even if it's not doing a crazy little melody, just, some chords or anything to just enhance the sound, the overall sound of the music and the song. So that's really my critiques, as far as things that I think would benefit the song. and add richness and depth and all of that, and help it stand out more. Because as it stands, like I said, I like this song, but I really want to love it, and I just can't at its current stage. It just feels like it's not quite finished yet, and it kind of bums me out a little bit because this song to me it can really shine, because they have a solid foundation set, and just kind of tweaking some things and adding some richness, adding a little bit of more nuance in there, a little bit of more movement musically would really, really make it something even better and really make it stand out quite a bit. But the melody, the structure, the vocals, I love that like operatic thing going and all that. But even like during that, I don't remember now if the piano was present, but it just would have been lovely, especially in that section, to have really nice piano melody kind of going in addition to that. Add a little bit more of a mystical or ethereal quality to that section while she's doing those lovely operatic style vocals. Just little things like that, little touches to really make the song pop. So yeah, that's really my thoughts on it. I'm really curious to check out the new album when they drop it and kind of see what else these folks, have that they've been working on and all of that stuff. But, I just really want to hear that fullness, that richness, and, see where this band goes, because at its core, I really think it's a talented bunch. A well structured and written song that's just not quite finished yet. Anywho, that's that. Let me know, folks, in the comments down below. What'd you think of this song? Have you listened to this band before? Let's talk about all of that good stuff in the comments, and I'll catch you all next time. Ranger, out.